In this chapter, what we want to look at is your personal power, how you can develop it, what is the nature of true power, and the choices that you'll be faced with once you have developed the power to create your reality in accordance and compliance with your will, intention, and purpose. First, we want to look at what power is not. The common concept of someone who is a powerful person is someone who perhaps could be defined as a manipulating, dominating type of person. Perhaps someone who scares and intimidates people. This, however, is not the true nature of power. True power is not power over others. Manipulation, domination, intimidation, or control. It's not forcing your ideas upon others. A truly powerful person doesn't have power defined by the end results, regardless of techniques used. A truly powerful person has the ability and the willingness to act, and to direct their energies in order to create whatever it is they want. Power is the ability to act, not the action itself. Everyone is powerful because everyone has the ability to act. But the problem is they keep on robbing themselves of their willingness to act by giving their power away to their blockages, insecurities, and limitations. They keep on hemorrhaging their power away by clinging to their faulty attitudes, beliefs, thoughts and feelings, such as feelings that they don't deserve to have power. Now, the first step to take in order to develop your personal power is to learn to love yourself. You cannot love another unless you first love yourself. If you truly love yourself, you'll want only the best for yourself. You are not loving yourself if you're creating a reality where others are treating you badly. You're not meant to be a martyr for anyone else, to be a rug for them to walk on and abuse. To be powerful and self-loving, you must not give up your freedom to discern and judge whether or not you are living in an environment that truly allows you to express your innate power, to create a reality that is in your own best interests. The ability to act, and therefore to be powerful, is the ability to consciously create your reality with elegance and ease. That means with the expression and utilization of the least amount of energy. If you're in a relationship where you have to dominate or control, or where you are being dominated or controlled, it means that you are not making outward judgments of yours or another's behaviour, thereby forcing those judgments within, which putrefies into suppressed anger. This is not being elegant. It's not an economical use of energy. Even if you don't fully understand the ramifications and implications of that which is being covered in this chapter, there is a deeper part of you that does truly love you, and that part of you is taking this in on a deeper level. Thereby, inner changes are being brought about on subconscious levels because that part of you does want only the best for you. The first thing to understand in developing your true core of power is that any step that brings you closer to God, Goddess, all that is a powerful step. Your spirituality is your living, loving, embracing, breathing relationship with God, Goddess, all that is. Everyone has a level of spirituality, even when they deny that relationship. Any step that leads you to a greater understanding of that relationship is a step of power. The ultimate power, after all, is the ability to act as one in partnership with God, Goddess, all that is. Now you can turn your back on this ultimate truth But the ultimate truth is that you are living because you have a spirit and you have a soul. The spirit gives you life, the soul gives you consciousness. The facts presented in the chapters on reincarnation should have left you with an unmistakable understanding that you have eternal life. It's time for some serious reflection upon the question of where you are going to spend that eternity. By reading this book, you are rapidly becoming the spiritual adult. Your ultimate journey will see you evolving beyond the human kingdom altogether. That is your destiny. Nothing ultimately will hold you back from that destiny. Because God has created such wonder and mystery at our human level of development, we can only imagine that more wondrous and mysterious experiences await us in the levels beyond the human. Because God and Goddess have brought you thus far in this journey of unfolding your consciousness, ultimately all explorations into higher and higher realms and dimensions must and will be in partnership with them. Would you want it any other way? So the most powerful message of this book is exactly that message. This book is a means whereby you can develop your true core of power and enhance your skill at creating all of the events of your life elegantly and with ease, with the ultimate goal of creating that reality in partnership with God, Goddess, all that is. My aim is to bring to your awareness in this chapter an understanding of the true nature of power and how you can develop and unfold that power. After all is said and done, whilst you are preparing yourself for higher levels of consciousness beyond the human level, you might as well be as comfortable as possible with abundance and happiness for you and your loved ones for the remainder of this and any other human lifetimes that you choose to live. It's important in that process to institute into your daily routine periods of quiet reflection. Take time out in your lunch break, for example, at work, and any other opportunities that you get during the day, to be alone in a space of solitude, where you can just reflect upon the truths contained in the chapters of reincarnation, to just reflect upon the enormity of what was proven there within that chapter. That's how belief patterns are transformed and changed over a period of time. Quiet times of reflection allow you to let it in that you have lived hundreds of lives in the past, all leading you to where you are today. God and Goddess have brought you elegantly through those lifetimes and even ensured that your soul qualities have been cumulative, even though your memory of past foul deeds have not. That's how you have become so insightful, intelligent, and intuitive. Quiet times of reflection will aid you in allowing in the truth that you do have all of the properties, all of the qualities, and all of the powers of God inside of yourself now. Your task is to recognize that fact and unfold those powers. If you truly do have the power inside of yourself to create all of the events and conditions of your life with elegance and ease, that has got to be a truth that is worth investigating with every fibre of your being. It's important to also bear in mind, however, that you must maintain balance in your life. You are still in this world, even if not of this world. You will gradually, as your consciousness expands and your understanding expands, find yourself spending more time reflecting upon the wonders that are being brought to your attention through this book. It's important to understand that you still have a personality, however, that has its genuine needs and wants. Times of leisure and pleasure with loved ones must always remain a part of your life. Your loved ones may not be able to climb as far up the mountain as you, so their view may not be as wondrous as yours. They do have an important role to play in your life, however. They keep you tethered to the earth, so you don't drift off into fantasy land. Maintaining balance between the material world and the spiritual world is vitally important. As you unfold your true core of power, you will be led to deeper and deeper levels of understanding. Now, you're not going to run out of material to work with. Even the knowledge contained in the 36 CDs of my intensives has the power to radically change and transform your belief patterns over a period of time. Each time that you replay any of my CDs or read any chapters of this book, you'll gain deeper insights into the nature of reality and your place in that reality. You'll be fortified and strengthened by many little synchronicities and coincidences that keep on popping up from time to time in your life. This is the soul's way of reassuring you that you're on the right track. The more that you understand about the way God has created it all, the more you develop gratitude for the gifts and powers that He has bestowed upon you. Power comes from developing your belief and your understanding of the fact that you have eternal life. You can never, ever die. That is a beautiful gift that God and Goddess have bestowed upon you. Every time you enter into those quiet moments of reflection, you draw closer to God, to let it in deeply into your conscious mind and also into your subconscious mind, that you have the power inside of yourself to create your reality in accordance and compliance with your will. You've lived hundreds of lives to get where you are today. The blindness and the ignorance is coming to an end. The lie that you only have this one life can no longer be sustained. We are moving rapidly into the age of Aquarius. This is an age of enlightenment. It's time to throw off the shackles of self-pity, limitations, struggle, hardship, and feelings of not deserving. It's time to awaken to your true core of power, to create it all the way you want it to be. It's also time to throw away the self-destructive and self-sabotaging habit patterns that represent your toxins, poisons, and anesthetics that put you to sleep. Learn to look in the mirror at yourself and learn to truly love that face that's looking back at you. Learn to love yourself. If you truly love yourself, you'll only want the best that life has to offer. You wouldn't want anything less for your child. Why would you want anything less than the best for yourself? Stuffing your body with food that you know is not good for you, smoking, drinking alcohol, refusing to do daily exercise, all of those habit patterns are not in your own best interests. Throw off the shackles of a mindset based on low self-esteem and confidence. Recognize that you have belief patterns hidden and ingrained deeply within yourself that are creating the reality that you experience. Own that fact that sadly, but fortunately, no one is doing it to you. You are doing it to yourself. In a later chapter, I'm going to touch upon the topic of processing and programming to help you clean house, the house of your attitudes and beliefs. In this chapter, I just want to firstly define power so you can develop the skill of enhancing your true core of power. What I want to look at, now that we have clearly defined the true nature of power, is how you can apply that power in your daily life now. There are 7 components that are intricately linked together in a process to unfold and express your power. First of all, however, I do want to share with you a little axiom in terms of the rules of play that underlie the truth that you create your own reality, and that is that the steps to getting there are the same as the qualities of being there. We have created a reality which allows for the maximum amount of gain for the least amount of energy expended. So when at the conclusion of having followed these 7 steps, you say to yourself, "What do I do now that I am powerful?" The answer is, you've already been doing it. The steps to becoming powerful are the same as developing the qualities to get there. So what are those 7 steps? Step 1. The first step is to develop the quality of honesty. The first quality that you need to get in touch with your true core of power to create your reality according to your will is the ability to tell the truth to yourself. How open, honest and truthful you are to others is a matter of discernment. However, if you can be brutally honest with yourself, you'll grow so much faster. Learning to be totally honest with yourself is so very important. By telling yourself the truth about who you really are and the nature of the self-destructive thoughts, feelings and habits that you have entertained over the years, you are taking the first step to a new you, a powerful you, a beautiful you. Now this doesn't mean going and revealing all of your faults and weaknesses that you recognize as being part of yourself to everyone that you know. That is a matter of discretion. But it does mean being totally honest with yourself. This is your personal power that we're talking about here. This is not about attacking yourself or criticizing yourself or running yourself down. It's just about recognizing that there are many aspects of your personality, mainly internal realizations, that you have turned a blind eye to now for too long. For too long, you've procrastinated about making what you knew were necessary adjustments to your belief patterns and attitudes. I want to take you on a little journey now into the future, perhaps thousands of years from now, when you've reached the level of mastery at the human level. Imagine that you are welcomed home by all those who have preceded you. They say, "Welcome home. What took you so long?" Your reply is, "Well, back in the early part of the 3rd millennium, I made a fundamental choice not to tell myself the truth. I decided to sweep my shortcomings under the carpet and to postpone making adjustments and changes inside of myself. That decision, unfortunately, meant that I had to live through another 15 lifetimes to catch up to where I am today. You're going to feel very foolish for not making the decisions that you could have made in this lifetime. You have the power to make this your last human lifetime, depending on the choices and decisions that you make about your growth now. When it all boils down to the fundamentals of life, the reason that we are here is to grow spiritually, to develop our living, loving, embracing relationship with God, Goddess, all that is. Yes, there's no getting away from the fact that our space-time rule set is a giant spiritual classroom. To be totally honest with yourself, you can go into the bathroom and look in the mirror at yourself. Study every line, mole and wrinkle in that face for 10 minutes without saying a word, as if you had to identify that face from 100 lookalikes in half an hour from now. Then talk to that face and tell yourself the truth. Do you know the lies that I tell to myself? Do you know the games I play, the manipulations, the self-sabotage, the addictions that I have become enamored with? Tell yourself the truth about yourself and resolve to make adjustments. Resolve to grow, to reach and stretch, to become more of who you really are. And you are taking the first step towards being powerful. The second step in becoming a powerful person is to recognize the fact that you have impact. You have impact in your reality upon others, both overtly and covertly. You have impact upon your children by your drug, alcohol, or bad food habits. You have impact upon others covertly through resonance. So when you go into self-pity, anger, shame, guilt, or feelings that you don't deserve, you're radiating a resonance. Mind is not here nor there. It is non-local, meaning it's everywhere at once. So your thought processes have impact upon the collective consciousness of humanity. That influence and that impact does not have to travel anywhere. Non-local means it's nowhere. You have impact upon others when they entertain similar self-destructive thoughts. When they do, they bring your thoughts from the nowhere to the now here. In other ways of saying, they bring your thoughts from the non-local to the local space-time rule set, where your thoughts boost and strengthen their similar thoughts. It impacts more readily upon loved ones, however, because of the law of affinity. They have an affinity and a connection with you, a bond of love, a family, or karmic tie. You have created impact upon others in your reality as part of the rules of the set. Now, the reason why you wrote impact into the rules is that you wanted to learn how to love. If I can hurt you, I can also choose to love you. And if you can hurt me, you also have the power to love me. We therefore have a chance to love one another. You had to have the choice to hurt in order to have the choice to love. If you only had the choice to love, it wouldn't be a choice. It would be a choice imposed on you by God. You live in a rule set where conscious choice is the most powerful force. You have to come to a realization that your efforts at manipulation, domination and control of yourself and others does have impact, and you need to own that impact. As you progress with me beyond this book into my online intensives, you'll learn more about the nature of reality and the true nature of your relationship to other people in your reality. That's covered in more depth there. Here, we are looking at the basics of your personal power. You've created this ingenious thing called impact because you wanted to learn how to love. Without impact, there can be no love. So you need to own your impact and be honest about the impact that your choices and decisions, thoughts and feelings, attitudes and beliefs are having upon yourself and others. Without impact, there can be no power. Step 3. The third component of power is responsibility. To accept responsibility for your creations, both positive and negative. To accept the fact that you have a responsibility to create an impact that is only positive upon yourself and others. Responsibility means being responsible for or having ownership over. Your first responsibility is to yourself. To thine self be true is an old axiom. Responsibility is the ability to respond. It's important to understand that you are a complexity. You have many component parts of your soul that are there to see you through all the stages of growth of your personality. These parts or components are archetypal. You have an infant you, a child, an adolescent, a young adult, and a spiritual adult. When you are a child, it's appropriate for you to function in your reality as a child. When you are an adolescent, it's appropriate to function as an adolescent. Now that you are an adult, it's not appropriate for you to respond to a situation from the position of a child or adolescent. These component parts of you are eternal because they are part of your eternal soul. You need these component archetypal parts of you to get you through the child, adolescent, and adult stages of each lifetime. So responsibility means the ability and willingness to respond to a given situation from the appropriate stage of development that you are currently at. Many adults are stuck in their adolescent or child stage of development. They are not responding to the exigencies of life from the appropriate aspect of their personality. Now, space doesn't allow for examples of this, but you know about people who cannot accept the responsibilities that they have from the appropriate adult self. To take responsibility is an integral component part of power. The more responsibility that you will take, the more power that you will engender. If you, for example, will only accept responsibility for the events and conditions that occur within your own family circle and domestic environment, then that will be the limits of your power. If you will also accept responsibility for the fact that you are creating all the events of your life as they have impact upon you, including friendships, work, business, etc., you will have a wider range of power. Remember that accepting responsibility does not mean domination and control. All of the events of your life originate from thought. We'll get into more detail about that in another chapter on processing and programming. It's just sufficient to know at this stage that the more you honestly accept responsibility for the events of your life, the more power that you have to create impact in regard to those events. I'm not a young man anymore. My task in this lifetime has been to research and investigate the true nature of reality. I didn't come into life with all of my awareness intact from achievements in past lives. I came in blind to the truths, so I could fight my way from ignorance to understanding. In the process, to make the maps to lay the morphogenic pathways for others to follow. In this book, I leave a legacy to you and others like you, pilgrims on the path of life, trying to find their way through the fog. Your blockages are akin to steam on the bathroom mirror. It's difficult to see a clear image of yourself. Don't hate yourself because of a foggy mirror. Clean away the fog and you'll see yourself as you truly are. You are a giant spiritually. The opposite of courage is not cowardice. The opposite of courage is blind conformity to a life that doesn't reflect your goodness, truth, and beauty. The opposite of courage is hushed or silent conformity to a life that does not express your power, strength, and inherent talent. Everything I share with you in this book comes not from hearsay, but from experience. The more responsibility that you accept, the more power you will have. Beginning with this book, I leave you a legacy that can take you all the way home. This book is only the beginning of your journey coming home, an eternal journey. Step 4. The fourth component of power is willingness. A willingness to be powerful. Many people will say to themselves that they're willing to be honest with themselves so that they accept that they have impact and that others have impact upon them. They are also willing to be responsible for the conditions of their life. But when it comes to a willingness to be powerful, they feel as if they don't deserve to be powerful. They think they haven't been good enough, perfect enough, loving enough. They know the things that they have done. Hey, they say to themselves, I know my imperfections, my secrets, and my shame. Therefore I don't deserve to be powerful. The fact of the matter is that everyone deserves to be powerful. There isn't one person on the planet who doesn't deserve to be powerful. Then why isn't everyone powerful, you might ask? The reason why is that even though everyone deserves to be powerful, only a few people are willing to be powerful. Everyone deserves to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. The big question is not deserving, but willingness to be powerful. That is one of the biggest secrets about being powerful. Remember, however, that willingness is only one of 7 components of being powerful, but it is a very powerful and important component. Without this important 4th or middle component, all the others will not make you powerful. Step 5. The next component is to have courage. The courage to have conviction and commitment and to take a stand upon your ideals and principles. It's important to have ideals, which are standards that you set for yourself, knowing full well that they will never really be fully attained. Ideals are like knowing in your heart that you will never fully be able to live up to those ideals, but you become more of who you really are in the striving to do so. It's also important to develop a set of principles by which to live your life. These principles represent the standards of honesty and integrity, trust and loyalty by which you intend to live your life. Living in this space-time rule set that we call our Earth, our human society, we are beings who need boundaries. These are the limits that guide our behaviour, actions and reactions within this reality. There are 2 types of boundaries that you can choose to live by. The first of these is principles. self-imposed rules of engagement, limits beyond which I will not go, honesty, integrity, trustworthiness, reliability, punctuality, being loving, caring, sharing, giving, etc. The other form of boundaries are blockages, self-pity, low self-esteem, guilt, shame, martyrhood, fear, anger, self-punishment, self-sabotage, struggle, and hardship. If you refuse to live according to your principles, you will by default have plenty of blockages. You are a physical being. You live in a physical world. You need boundaries. Character is the frequency with which you apply your principles. You can have plenty of principles and ideals, but if you rarely live by them, then you have no character. To have the courage to have ideals and principles, the conviction that these principles are worth living by, and the commitment to live by these principles, these are some further components of power. Step 6. The sixth component of power is to give love and receive love. Both are integral components of power. To give love and to be loved. This means to allow yourself to be transformed by the love that you receive. To be able to say to yourself, I am a better person because of your love. I am changed and transformed because you love me. This means allowing yourself to be loved by self, to let the love in that you have for yourself. But if you abuse yourself with negative mental and emotional thoughts and feelings, or if you have a diet of rubbish food with few vitamins and goodness, if you poison your body with drugs, alcohol, or engage in very little exercise, you're not being loving of self. You are not living a life that is in your own best interests. Don't expect to be perfect overnight, however. Remember that balance is vital. A social drink here and there in today's society is the norm. Moderation is the key, not an unattainable ideal of perfection as a means of punishing yourself. Step 7. The final component of power is trust. Trusting yourself and others selectively. Those who have earned your trust and are worthy of your trust. Very few people really trust themselves, but trust is one of the most powerful tools that you have. Just try to imagine how much your life would be different if you all of a sudden decided to trust yourself 100% of the time. It would be monumentally different. All of your fears, all of your doubts, all of your insecurities, self-pity, martyrhood, guilt, shame, anxiety, low self-esteem, poor self-image would all drop away. All of your tendencies to tell lies, all of your manipulations and game plays, all of your efforts at domination and control would all be gone. Everything would be marvelous, beautiful, and wonderful. You would have abundance, prosperity, happiness, and joy in your life. All as a result of trust. Learning to trust yourself is a very important and critical component in your quest to be powerful. So just to reiterate, if you have honesty and trust, you're willing to give and receive love, are cognizant of the fact that you have impact and accept responsibility for that impact, the courage to live by your principles, and you're willing to be powerful, then you will be living a life that is an expression of your power. When you are powerful, they will be the qualities that others will describe you as being. You must be willing to implement these components of power with regularity, conviction and commitment over the long term to maintain the integrity of your power. Once you have implemented these components with consistency, persistence, determination, conviction and courage over a period of time, you will be powerful. And what comes after you have become powerful? Then you are faced with a decision. Two choices present themselves to you. One is domination, the other is dominion. You can't choose both. Domination is putting yourself in a position of elevated superiority. Dominion is achieving supremacy. When you choose domination, you are making a choice to dominate others before you get dominated by others. You are choosing to control and manipulate others before you get manipulated and controlled by others. Domination is a mindset where the world is perceived as a scary place, where everyone is out to get you. It is a place of fear and blame. You believe in this mindset that power means power over others and events. Dominion is a mindset where you creatively generate all the events and conditions of your life, where the world is viewed and perceived as a friendly place, where everyone is out to support you, where power is seen and recognized as the ability to act, where you have the choice of accepting more and more responsibility for the creation of the events and conditions of your life. To achieve a position of supreme authority. Authority means authorship. To be the supreme author or creator of your reality. Being in a place of domination means supporting your past by supporting your negative ego, by paying attention to its assurances that you don't deserve success, that you are not worthy of love. A world where you are out to punish and to blame, to have power over others by scaring and frightening others, to also manipulate from a position of weakness. Oh, poor me, no one knows the trouble I've seen. As opposed to the position of dominion, where instead of clinging to the past and what you have been, you are motivated by your future and what you are becoming. You either support your negative ego and your past, or you motivate yourself from the position of your spiritual self and what you are becoming. A friendly world that loves you and wants to support you. A place of giving and loving, as opposed to a world where you have to take and to blame. When you come to this point in your evolution, where you are a power-filled person, you will be faced with a decision. If you choose domination, your world will reflect that choice. Your reality will be a scary place where everyone is out to get you, where you must dominate or be dominated, where you must control or be controlled, where you constantly dwell in the past, where you take and blame. If you choose dominion, the events of your life will reflect that choice. Your world will be a friendly place where everyone is out to support you. It will be a world of abundance, happiness, love and joy. A reality that is the result of your creative generation. All by making that choice. Conscious choice is the most powerful force in the universe, but it must be an honest choice. It's been a great pleasure to work with you within the framework of this chapter. You are now in a position to develop more of your magical skills.